What is up, Scrubs? X-Wrestler here, and in this video, I'll be sharing some scary stories, and I figured what's best to suit this other than Extinction gameplay, which, makes plenty of sense, because Extinction has to do with aliens and stuff like that, although this story has to do with more like spirits and supernatural stuff, and, stuff like that. But, this game I'm showing you right now was a fail to complete this solo on normal mode. Oh my gosh, I failed so hard. I had like maybe maybe a minute or two left of shooting down the big kraken at the very end, and and I died, and it's extremely sad. And I'll see if I can just like crop it out and put it at the very end of this video. But yeah, I did speed this up just so you can see more of the gameplay faster and stuff like that. And this was my very first time playing this map, so as you can see, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I almost completed it on normal mode that fast. That's pretty impressive, and it was solo also. I usually am here for like multiplayer gameplays, but I figured this would suit better if I'm like telling a scary story. So, anyways, let's start it off. So, here I was. There's actually multiple stories to this, by the way. So here I was, just a child, a few months old maybe, and I stayed the night in my room every night, and nothing really happened too bad. I stayed the night in my room. No big deal. Nothing too exhilarating, or I didn't really notice because I was a child. So my parents told me this story, and sorry if I messed it up a little bit, but it is my parents, the ones who told me the story. So, this one night, I sleep with my grandparents, so my parents can have the night out, and they can stay by themselves and do parent stuff, I guess. I don't know what they do. I don't really want to know either. So, they went out and ate and everything, and they came back to my room, or they came back to the house, and my room was locked shut. They kept it locked shut for some reason. And so, they opened my room just to check on my room and see how everything is going. And all of a sudden, the window's open, all the drawers are open, my bed sheets are thrown off the bed, my entire room's a disaster, and the window's open, and there's dust all over the window pane and the window sill and everyone, and there's no fingerprints or nowhere where it looks like it's smudged off. Everything was just how it left it, except for the room being messed up, and the room was locked, so nobody could have got in from the front door. Nobody could have broken in that way. The only way they could have broken in was the window. But the window was locked because we have those little lock things for our window. And second of all, there was dust, and no fingerprints were where the dust were. And let me key you in on a little something. My great-grandmother died a few days before I was born, and she was really looking forward to seeing me whenever I was born and everything. And I have a feeling it was her. I have a feeling that I was born, and I stayed in this room every night until this was my very first night out ever. And I have a feeling this was her looking for me, trying to find if I was in the house, trying to see if she could find me anywhere near there. That's the only thing I can think of. I wouldn't think of anything else. That's just the only thing that comes to mind. And that's kind of freaky looking back on it. But it was my great-grandmother. It's not like she was trying to do any harm, but that's just my assumption. That's just what I think it is. And the second story is a little bit more creepier. It's just actually a lot more creepier and scarier, and if you were there first person, and it's actually pretty frightening. So, starting off, I don't know if any of you know what an Ouija board is, but it is a board with the words and the letters and the numbers, yes, no, goodbye, A through Z, like the letters A through Z, the numbers 0 through 9, and it had yes and no, and then it had goodbye, and it had a sun and a moon for like daytime and nighttime, I guess. I'm not really sure. I only did this a couple of times. And so yeah, a Ouija board, practically what it does is it has all that on it, and then it has this little like pointer thing, and the pointer thing like points to letters and everything. And the whole purpose of this is to contact spirits, and have them talk to you and communicate with you through the board. And I wasn't really sure at this at first, and I wasn't really sure what was going to happen or anything, so we started playing, and basically what you have to do is you and a couple of your friends have to put your your hands, like a few fingers on the little like arrow thing, and it'll start moving, and that means the spirit is there. And the spirit is apparently in the game, is not with you or anything unless you ask it to be, which is really creepy, which is what my friends did, and it completely screwed us over in the long run, which I'll get to that later. But anyways, so it moves around, and you ask it yes or no questions, short word questions, stuff like that, or either long word if you want to sit there for a while and let it move around to spell things, but I don't really think anybody wants to do that. And yes, so we'd ask it stuff like, what's your name and everything, and it would tell us ZH. And I looked up ZH, and I really couldn't find anything that it means, or if it, like, refers to anything. I looked it up right before making this video just to, like, make sure. And, so, basically, it's just this soul or something, this spirit, I guess, trying to communicate with us. And so, I mean, I wasn't really terrified, I wasn't really scared, nothing really happening, but my friend was over here freaking out because the thing was moving, and it isn't that big of a deal. So, I asked the spirit to please move my sunglasses, which were sitting on the table. And so I put a finger on the bottom of my sunglasses because it apparently had to touch things for things to move, for it to be able to make stuff move, because it takes this energy out of your body and everything, which is honestly really creepy. Looking back on it, I should have never done this. But it starts shaking my glasses like really hard and really like scary, and I was pretty frightened, honestly. And like that wasn't really enough for me. I wasn't really satisfied with that. It wasn't really that intense or anything too cool. Like I didn't really care. Didn't do too much for me. So all of a sudden, I asked it to, strum the guitar, and which it did, which was also really scary. That kind of scared me. My friends almost cried. It kind of scared me, but it wasn't as scary as what I'm about to say. And then my friend, I wasn't gonna go this far. But my friend took it to a whole new level. He put his hand on the outlet for the house, and he's like, "If you're really here, if you're really real, turn all the lights out in the house." And what happened next is pretty obvious, pretty blatant, and is also extremely terrifying. Oh my gosh, I can just see it right now. I can look back and remember all of it. That ghost, ZH, turned the lights off in my house, and I nearly cried. That was it. That was it for me. I was done. I told ZH I'd talk to him later, and we went outside and played the game Manhunt, which is like hide and go seek in the dark with a base, which is 2 teams, one who hides and one who finds. Now I was on the finding team. Keep that in mind. So I was looking around with the flashlight because we had rules where you use flashlight to look around in the dark because it is dark whenever you play this. And I was looking around with the flashlight, and my buddy was with me, and I shine the flashlight over there at this log, and we see this figure, and we think it's my buddy Joe, and we're like, "Joe, we see you," and we start running towards him, and the figure starts running away, so we start chasing the figure and everything, and we chase it all the way around this corner, and then all of a sudden it literally disappears into thin air. We watch it in our eyes disappear to thin air. So I was honestly scared. I had no clue what was going on, and all of a sudden my buddy Joe comes up from behind me, and he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And we explained the entire thing to him, and he was kind of freaked out also. But I don't think anybody was as freaked out as me at this point. Maybe my friend, who was probably crying at this point, but anyways, yeah, it was really freaky, honestly. It was kind of really, like, messed with me, honestly. So after that, my buddy Joe and we're just talking, and we're like, that was really scary. I mean, honestly, it was really scary. So we go back inside, get on the Ouija board, and we ask it, "Hey, ZH, was that you?" And it moves to yes. And that was probably not as bad as what happened outside and the lights and everything, but it was still pretty scary, honestly. And so sorry about that noise in the background. There's workers at my house working on our bathroom. But anyways, the next day I go and work on the chickens because my friends left me, and so I go and work on my chickens because I kind of live on a farm. And so I'm outside working on my chickens, and all of a sudden I feel this like hand on my shoulder, like grabbing me, and it's kind of pinching me, but it wasn't. It was like a man's hand. So I was kind of scared to turn around, but I figured, I might as well turn around. What's the worst it could be? I figured it would be my dad coming home because, he usually comes home at that time to eat lunch. So I turned around, and there is this, like, god-awful face staring at me. And I screamed. It scared the mess out of me. And I blinked, and it was gone. And, ooh, was that scary. Oh, my gosh. I seriously. telling this story brings back like bad memories of how scary it was, honestly. But yeah. So I was scared out of my mind, and that was the last time I ever touched the Ouija board. I haven't touched it to this day, and I probably will never do it again. I mean, you can try it for yourself. Not everybody gets bad spirits. I mean, there's some pretty funny spirits, some pretty weird spirits. You ask them how they die, and it's pretty bad. You can ask them, like, did you get shot? Did you get ran over? All those natural causes. And I've talked to, like, a Jew from the Holocaust who got killed by genocide, which that was also pretty weird. And I'm not 100% sure if all of it was real, but I'm pretty sure it was because it scared the mess out of me. And I don't know, it was just really scary. Don't want to do it again. And if you guys want to do it, go ahead, but don't hold me accountable to your actions. It's your choice. But yeah, I'll probably put up a screen in the beginning of the video, show you guys what an Ouija board is. But anyways, guys, yeah, that's about my time for the day. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see you all later. Peace.
Big pond, the fish are the only difference. City out of harmony, lingering on the dissonance. Fishermen wrapping up citizens with their fishing nets. Sometimes chemical, some plate old imprisonment.